A person who designs buildings is called an architect. A person who sells flowers is called a florist. A person who sells meat is called a butcher. A person who sells fish is called a fishmonger. A person who draws pictures is called an artist. A person who sells fabric and cloth is called a clothier. A person who delivers newspaper is
Is called
a
pe-
paper boy. A person who sells sweets is called a confectioner. A person who buys and sells all things is called a scrap dealer. A person who sells fabric and cloth is called a clothier. A person who buys and sells all things is called a scrap dealer. A person who sells fish is called a fishmonger. A person who designs building is called an architect. A person who draws pictures is called an artist. A person who delivers newspaper is called paper boy. A person who sells meat is
called
a butcher. A person who sells flowers is called the florist. A person who delivers newspaper is called a paper boy. A person who sells flowers is called a florist. A person who sells meat is called a butcher. A person who sells fabric and cloth is called a
clothier.
clothier. A person who draws picture is called an artist. A person who sells sweet is called a confectioner. A person who designs buildings is called an architect. A person who sells fish is called a fishmonger. A person who buys and
A person
sell all things is called a
scrap
scrap dealer. A person who delivers newspaper is called a paper boy. A person who buys and sells all things is called a
scrap
scrap
dealer.
dealer. A person who sells sweet is called confectioner. A person who designs buildings is
Buildings.
Buildings. Okay, is called an
Architect.
architect. A person who sells meat is called a butcher.
A butcher.
A butcher.
A person who sells fish is called a fishmonger.
A person
A person who
sells
sells a person who sells
fabric.
fabric and cloth is called a clothier.
Clothes.
A person who sells
Flowers.
flowers is called the florist.
Bye bye.